Hello and welcome to the DM's Book Club, a weekly book club podcast where we talk about Dungeons and Dragons, except I don't do that anymore because fuck that, and talk about how we can include it and improve it for our role-playing campaigns. With me, brand new co-host here in the DM studio is the wonderful Nandi. Hello, Nandi. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm so happy to be here, Fiona.
I'm so delighted. Nandi and I met doing one of our online improv classes we've been doing over the last year, and it turns out we both like role-playing games. What? Oh my goodness, couldn't tell that from any of that improv that we've done.
Surprise, surprise.
Nandi, I would love for you to introduce yourself to our wonderful audience. We'll start with the nice, easy question I always do is, how did you get into role-playing games? What was your origin story?
Oh my goodness. So I wish I would have gotten into them earlier, but my intro was actually Dropout Dungeons and Drag Queens. I had never seen anyone play Dungeons and Dragons before. Obviously, like, I heard about it.
Right.
I had no idea what it was. I watched Stranger Things. I don't think the way they showed it made it clear to me what the game was either. But I do love Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange and RuPaul's Drag Race. So when I saw they were doing something on another platform, I was like, I'll follow them over. I literally had no idea what it was.
Really? Wow.
I just was like, Bob is on it. So I click play and I was like, wait, this is what D&D is? I want to play. I need to play. That was like a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah, very, very recently.
And I've been, I'm really new, but I'm deep in it.
Yeah,
neck deep.
That's how it is. I think the same with improv as well. You do one like workshop and then suddenly, you signed up for a whole slew of courses and
literally the same thing. Yeah, it was like watching like the Intrepid Heroes play D&D. I was like, wait. This is what I could be doing with improv. I was like, oh, I could do this.
Yeah. So because did you start improv because of watching D&D stuff? Yes. Amazing.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was like, okay, this will make me better.
Yeah, well, that was the same thing with me because I was doing role-playing games, like basic sort of things, and I interviewed someone on one of the other podcasts, and I always ask, like, what's the takeaway message or one thing you'd say to a GM to run your game? What would you say to them as advice? And they went, oh, take an improv class. And I was like, oh, blah, 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 let's go. Like, I was like, that's, of course. And then, next day I was searching for improv classes, and I saw that there was one that's starting, and then, never looked back since because it's,
I looked for places for a while. I looked for places for a while. I tried to find somewhere local, but there was nowhere that was like close enough to me that I could kind of like make it in work time and in time after work and stuff like that. But then my friend was like, there's people who do it online. Like, you should check out the Second City. And I found it. I just was like, oh, sick. And I took a 101 class. I had so much fun. I think the origins of improv are also so cool, and just like the power of play is really interesting. You realize like, oh man, I needed to be playing way more in my life. That's all I've been doing since then.
Well, we'll definitely get the paid advertisements from Second City from us just talking about how great it is from doing this podcast. I'm checking in with you, so like, because you say in your terms fairly new to it, obviously there's, experience does not matter too much here for the Ends Book Club, but I guess so. Have you played it? Have you run it? Like, what games have you run or systems that you've been part of?
I've played a lot of D&D, but I am very interested in non-D&D games. So I've played like 7th Sea. I'm playing The Walking Dead in a podcast right now. I played Call of Cthulhu in another horror podcast that I played that was really fun. I've also played Fabula Ultima. And I'm planning on doing some Vampire the Masquerade stuff coming up. I've only run... Oh, and I played Kids on Bikes too recently. And I really like that. I've only run D&D. And of course, as we well know, the big bad of all D&D is scheduling. And it was the demise of my first party that I was running it for.
Thoughts and prayers. Yes.
Yeah. But also it's a little, now that I've played more games, D&D is just like on the uptick, like coming to pick it up is really hard. There's a lot of moving parts to trying to learn D&D for the first time. And I think if you're just trying to get people into role-playing games, that's maybe not always the best system.
Yeah.
Even though I was into it, because I spent like so long watching people play, countless hours watching people play. Once I got a character sheet in front of me, I think dots started connecting, and I was like, okay, cool. I also love that Kids on Bikes. When I played Kids on Bikes, we did pre-gen tropes, and it's great to just be able to have like a pre-gen trope where your die size is locked in, and that's all you need to keep moving.
You don't have to worry about
played
it.
a lot. I want to run Kids on Bikes next for some people. That's like my next one I want to run.
I think Kids on Bikes is very underrated. Interestingly, it is used in a number of like Dimension 20 stuff. Obviously, Abria uses it quite a bit, and I know Brennan has used a little bit of it as well in a few of the recent series. And yeah, the thing I've loved about Kids on Bikes, and I've said it before on this show, is it's simply I think the system is decent, easy enough to follow, but it's the relationship questions you get where you've got the positive relationship, the negative relationship, and then the I don't know this person. And I just think to myself, that is one of the best things I've ever seen in terms of creating just connections between players that are, you can predetermine them or you can roll randomly, and what I like about it is that it's not particularly like it's for kids. I've used it in other things, so I just think it's just a nice way of just like connecting people, especially if you're, again, if you're players and you're like, we don't want to have you meet in a tavern and I'm a lone wolf.
Exactly what I was gonna say. It definitely gives you an alternative to the everyone meets up in a tavern scenario. Yeah, I really liked that we did play as kids, which also I love playing as teens.
Yes,
but they have adult characters even in the pre-gen tropes or whatever. There's obviously adults you can play, but yeah, I really like that, and I like stuff that's more narrative too. I really like stuff that lends itself to like more narrative storytelling, really making dice rolls like super high stakes.
100%.
Yeah, because Brennan does that with D&D, but as we well know, there are systems that are better suited to that kind of gameplay.
And just to note as well, you were talking about all the sort of other systems that you played in. It feels like, this is just me interpreting it, quite a lot of horror. Are you into horror more than other things?
That is what I am finding. Yeah. I do really like the horror games. I definitely wasn't expecting that. Yeah. But Call of Cthulhu was definitely my intro into being like, oh, I love horror games.
Oh, yes.
Horror is fun. I love playing with sanity. That sanity mechanic is so fun. We're playing The Walking Dead right now. We're playing
I was going to say.
Oh. And just like the thought that you probably will die is a really fun way to go into every session knowing like my character will probably die is just really fun. And like D&D is so hard to die, right? Like it's so hard to die in D&D.
You are heroes, and therefore, and you're like, but what if everything I built could disappear and we just have to deal with that? And that's great. And out of interest, The Walking Dead, because I've read it through a little while ago, but out of interest, I don't know, I maybe you do this or not. One thing I really loved about it was that when you do the recaps at the beginning, is that it says in the book to do it as if to someone who's died either in the last session or something like that. Do you guys do that?
Yes. And
so good.
So funny. So I did it on a podcast, and I came into the podcast late. So that was fun because I got to be someone no one knew. I got to just wander into the party and then kind of make my way into the party.
Yeah.
But my character, I thought my character was going to die, but when we had our last session, I wrote 2 different kind of journal entry monologues. For one, because this character was kind of a zealot and was like kind of being led by a voice, a god, and an eldritch horror to do things. So I wrote one if it was right that there was this eldritch horror that I had been being led by, and then I wrote one if I was wrong and I died.
Wow. Holy shit.
Which was like a really fun thing to experiment, because I was like, I have 2 HP, which meant if anything happened, I would
Fuck.
probably die. Like one thing,
One thing. Oh,
I
cool.
would have died. And it was
Yeah.
so fun. Yeah, and I
Uh,
got to do this fun, really fun, like horror kind of
yeah.
like resolve at the end. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
really a lot more into the horror stuff, I think. Yeah, the dark stuff.
I'm already thinking I'm gonna have to get you back to talk about Walking Dead because again, it was one of these ones. That's not what we're talking about today, Nandi. How dare you talk to me about all these other cool RPGs? Nandi, what's our topic of choice for today's DM's Book Club?
Today we are talking about the solo 2-player RPG Be Like a Cat.
Yes. This is by Critical Kit, I believe, which is a UK company, and it's I believe their second game using this kind of system, because their first one was called Be Like a Crow,
which I also have.
you've also have as well. There you
Yes.
go. There you go. So my big first question is, obviously you've said you've played in these games, and you're fairly new. So, how much experience do you have you done doing solo games?
Yeah, so not a lot. I only have played one other solo kind of journal RPG game and not to completion. I played Thousand Year Old Vampire. That was actually the first solo RPG game I was ever aware of. The person that I've been playing like these horror APs with recommended it to me, and I was like, oh, because I like the opportunity to play by myself. I like if I don't have to involve other people.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
like
can
these
still
people ruin my stories. Yes, absolutely.
get the rush of like playing a role-playing game and not having to like do all the work of assembling like a table of people
Yes.
together. So
The BBEG of scheduling. Yes, absolutely.
exactly. Oh my god, the biggest bad. Yeah. Yeah, so I've played that, and I really liked it again because you can play it on your own. So when I got this game in a humble bundle, love a humble bundle.
Heck yeah.
Also, Be Like a Crow was in there, and I was like, oh, this was a great opportunity to read it because I hadn't yet.
Because yeah, a lot of solo games are weirdly horror based, because again, it's that idea you're playing by yourself. Again, like you said, Thousand Year of Vampire has this themes of like grief and memory loss, and obviously vampires and darkness in general. But Be Like a Cat and Be Like a Crow isn't really about that. Like, again, depending on how you take the story, it could be. But yeah, essentially, you take on the role of a cat. You get to sort of create a very basic creation, and then essentially your goal in the base game is to just find out more territory as you go through your different life cycles until to the end. And it's different to other solo games that I've read, because a lot of them, as you said, they're like journaling, or you get prompts and you talk. Here, it is like procedurally generating your territory, your map.
Yep.
And you can journal, but it definitely feels like you're going through, in my head, almost like dungeon delving. You're like, okay, here's my stats. Okay, I'm going to do, okay, I've gone into this territory. Oh, there's another cat here. Right, write this down. Okay, I want this territory. I'm going to fight them. And so it feels very much almost like a, procedurally generated territory, but also with a little bit of combat, with a little bit of stats and resource management on top of that.
Yeah, it's like a little board game almost. Like it's like a little board game that you write. The cat, what do they call the character sheet? The cat, it has a really cute name. The cat stat sheet.
Yes,
The character sheet is the cat stat sheet, and it has little cats that you mark your stats in, which are the stats are also really cute. Okay, that's what I really like. So I really like the social. So there's a few different like groups of stats, but in the social stats, they have cute, scare, play, and signal, which are really, I just think all the like skills are so fun. They give you a cute little rundown because they really are just like little cat moves. And it's every time you take a turn, you can decide to move, or you can decide not to move, and you have other options that you can do. But yeah, it's kind of like a little tiny little board game, kind of tic-tac-toe-ish, because when you land, you like roll on the table, and then say, okay, this is what's here. Which I also like the idea of like marking what you found on the map, but I wish there were stickers.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, or even having pre-made maps that you could use. That was the thing, as we mentioned off recording, is that there's for certainly Be Like a Cat, there is all these, I think, 5 scenarios where, because the big difference between Be Like a Crow is that Be Like a Crow has many different versions of crows. You have like the gothic crow or the cyber crow, etc.
Right.
Here in Be Like a Cat is that you just make a generic cat. Presumably they would like, people would like to flavor it, whatever. And you start as kitten, then move to young adult, mature adult, and then senior. And throughout the different life cycles, you get different stats. But yeah, you could be a cat that's in a sci-fi dystopian, and you get extra objectives if you play the Brave New World, or you could play the ancient Egyptian one, which it was wild to have a quick read of that one. So yeah, I think that's the thing. I like the idea of being able to procedurally generate and have a different story each time, but I'd love the idea of having stickers and be able to put that out and create your own thing there, or have it online and have like a way to generate this stuff online, you know.
So I can like print them or something. Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I do agree about kind of the like generic cat, because kind of in the like core rules, it's like feral, stray, or domestic.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like, what about big cats? Are we just like not
a lion? Yeah.
Big cats, we're just not acknowledging the existence of big cats. Like, I get it, but yeah, it's just like, okay, that's interesting. But I do, because I like the idea of playing as an animal. What do you think about, like, how did you play through Be Like a Crow?
No, I read it through.
You just read it through.
And and to say again, the other big difference, as well as having each different corvid type, which was like assigned to like I said, the gothic romantic crow, or the cyber crow, or the like one which was like based in the Tower of London.
So cool.
Which again, I thought that was really cool, because then you could, I don't know, like I guess because then the scenarios will be different every time you play, and because your own interpretation of it. But they use cards instead of dice rolls, and it's the same thing of like you work out what the difficulty is, and then you pull a card. You go, it's a jack, so that is an 11 plus these things. 13, I pass the thing. Whereas here, it's D6s, and using the number of the 4 or 5 is a success. 6s are 2 successes, but a 1 is -1 success, which I was like, I don't like that. Ugh.
I do like that. I like that because it makes it feel more critical. Like if you get a 1, I like that. But I think the like multiple successes counting for like a single number is a little hard to keep track of. They do have a little table, which is like easy to handle, and since you're going to be like, I guess, writing it down. Yeah. So, which that's what I wanted to ask you about. If you were thinking about playing this, because this is what I was thinking about. If I was playing this, it would be interesting to think about journaling this, because I feel like you would journal it from third person and not first person, because you're a cat.
I think this is a very good point, because the one thing that stuck out to me, just because literally we were talking about 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, because that is prompts asking you stuff, whereas here, obviously, you roll, it goes, something happens, and it's all in the third person anyway. It's, or it says like, your tail got trapped, minus, or you roll with timidity, which is a word obviously I cannot say.
It's very hard to say.
So yeah, I feel like I actually feel, and I don't know if this is just me. I don't know how much journaling I would do compared to normal games, because I feel like it feels almost abstracted from it. Like you said, it feels like I would narrate it in third person and maybe not go into as much detail, which I think is a shame, because like as you said, I kind of like taking it from that point of view. It's like, something new, maybe I could try it with the language if I'm a young adult cat going like, what the heck is this? And it's just like a toad. I'm like, I've never seen this creature before, but I feel, I don't know, it's just, I think it's interesting that the tone it gives.
I agree. It's like and even they do mention like some people just like bullet point it, which does again made me think of like a dungeon crawl, but that doesn't seem as fun.
Yeah.
Which made me think this is not really a solo RPG. I'm sure you can play it solo, but they give you a bunch of options for how to play it for multiple players, well, 2 players, and all of those all seem more fun.
Yeah, like I feel like because it was like you could do it co-op where it's one GM, one player, but then the competitive mode, which almost feels like battleships or a board game.
That sounds fun. I was like, becoming top cat.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. Yeah, getting the most territories. Yeah, I was like, in my head, I was like, this is where I can imagine on a stream, you guys would talk it out and like, oh no, how could you? I think that is so much more engaging.
You can make it like mafia themed.
Yes.
That would be so fun. And like territory.
And I think that makes the base game work really well, even if it's just a territory. So even if you don't go to, like I said, the sci-fi dystopian one or the Egyptian one or the Star Wars one, which are all interesting, don't get me wrong, but I was like, to get people on board at the beginning and you're like, okay, it's a dungeon crawl and all that sort of thing, you need to make the exciting vanilla version of this game cool. I was like, the 2-player one is more interesting, and it's again in Be Like a Crow, as far as I'm aware, when I had a quick look through it this morning, there is no, it is just like you doing like not prompts, but again it feels more like you journaling from the point of view. It's not a 2-player perspective per se. So I think this feels like, oh, it felt like this game, because it's the second game, they're like, right, let's see what else we can do, which is cool. I also wonder if it's like, we maybe need to limit how many types of cat there are. You can be whatever you want, because they didn't want, I think they felt like, this is going to be more accessible because people want to play cats over birds,
Sure. Yeah, I mean, crows are a special kind of bird. I definitely like crows, I think, probably more than I like cats, and I do love cats. I think the 1-to-1 GM player could also be really fun. I'm really getting into one-to-one, one-on-one, like format. I think it's really cool. And someone said to me that Vampire the Masquerade, that's kind of the tagline, is like it's a personal horror, and that they think it works better one-on-one. And I think this Be Like a Cat, you're alone in the streets, having a GM narrate that. I think this would make a very fun actual play.
I think so too. I just being able to have that back and forth, because there are obviously actual plays when it's just a duet game or something like that, but I feel like you could do so much with this, either, as you said, like a cooperative one, or you have that competitive element to it. I also thought, like I said, the main mechanic is that you roll, you have numbers in your stats which will go up or down depending on which life cycle you're at, and if you're marking development. But the main thing is that you roll your d6s, 4 and 5, as I said, success, 6 double success, -1 is minus success. But then you have rolling with courage, which is you can re-roll any die that doesn't show a 1. And then you can roll with timidity, which is you just ignore 4s. And that was really interesting. I assumed you would roll with advantage, or so take the higher or take the lower.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, did you have any thoughts about that?
So initially, I was like, I love usually mechanics like this. Like I usually love like you're really good at this, or you're not so good at this mechanic, in a way to show that. But yeah, I thought the courage is too powerful, and that timidity is just, you just drop 1. It's not, so then your success is not. And then I kind of have feelings about, I don't know, other D6 systems usually make a 6 a success, and that's it. Yeah. So that's also like an interesting choice, because Walking Dead is like on they call it like a 666 system or whatever. And only a 6 is a success. If you don't get a 6, you have no successes. So like the way that they have this set up, we're like rolling with courage, there's already like these kind of like tiered ways successes work. It's 4 is 1 success, 5 is 2, 6 is 3 or something. And that I think I'm talking about skill points actually.
For sure.
And then courage and timidity is just, or timidity, drop 4 is a success. Courage, re-roll all dice that are not a 1. That's super powerful.
It's so powerful. Yeah, I wonder again if it's like, well, we want to be different to other D6 systems. And I'm like, yeah, but also there's no problem keeping things the same. So like rolling with courage, like I said, as advantage or like timidity as disadvantage. So I did think it was interesting because like you said, it has the tiered successes already. So yeah, I just think it was one of those things where I was like, this is trying to make the game maybe a bit more crunchy to appeal to people, perhaps. And I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, I think it's obvious, like, just as you're talking to me about it, I was like, I just want to play a cat. I don't need to be like, okay, so I guess that's one success and that I succeed. You know,
on a solo game, do you want to be crunching numbers? I don't.
No, I feels like, yeah, Be Like a Cat feels like it's supposed to be more narrative. And that's why I thought to myself, I was like, well, compared to other solo games, so again, similar to 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, or like, I know I sent you Kariko the other day,
yes,
which uses like tarot cards, and you go to the table, you take the tarot card, and it goes, something mysterious, like as a line, and you go, oh, what does that mean? I prefer that personally because it's like I can interpret it rather than thinking numbers and go, well, I think I think it's all right, but also I don't feel. I always feel like it breaks the immersion. Numbers always break the immersion for me. I guess maybe because we're improvisers, so instantly we don't want to be like, yes, and we're gonna do this. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I think the more I think about the system, the more I'm like, I just want to be a cat and not worry about math.
Yeah. I think it's interesting where they kind of like tried to throw in a little crunch, but I just think that's for like nerds. And like, again, I like crunch. I don't know if in a solo or 2-player, that's what I'm looking for. But again, like I can see like in a 1-to-1 GM player, that being really fun. Even in the competitive way, I can see it being fun. Collaborative, not as fun. I do like to fight in games. I don't. Being friends is cool as long as we're also fighting people. So
100%. Yeah.
And I guess you would be fighting people in that way, and you would be fighting other cats.
And just to go back to the three different types of cat that you're saying, so the feral, the stray, and the domestic, and there's like bonuses and weaknesses. But the one I thought was hilarious was the domestic. Is that if you ever roll a 1, your antics will be showing in a viral video, and I'm like, I'm like, God, that must be terrible for you. But also, like, I wish there was kind of something for each cat that has like something similar to kin to that, because it feels like, of course, I'm going to pick domestic as a result because I want to.
That's because you want to be a TikTok star.
Naturally, look at me, Nandi. Clearly, but I just
but the stray cat kind of was like living a great life because stray cats knew about like being in a home, but they also know about being from the streets, but they're dirty. It's so funny. That's like the stray cat. The stray cat is like, you know how to talk to humans, you know how to fight other cats. Also, you're ugly. But I did think that was like kind of cool. And then what was feral cat. I like calling them street cats. Feral cats are just like know how to fight, but not good with people. Not people.
But again, this makes me think of like, well, why can't I have like, again, now it goes like, well, why can't this be a game where it's a GM with 3 people playing these different kinds of like homeward bound S-type cats that are trying to get one back, the Aristocats. So just to have, I even think of like an Oliver and Company kind of like.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I have an Aristocats mug of what's the pink cat? Alice? Is that her name?
I want to say Alice, with the pink bow.
I think it's Alice, Yeah, she's so I love her. Yeah, I was obsessed with the Aristocats. But yeah, I feel like there's like cats that are neighborhood cats, so they're feral cats, but also they're the mayor. Like those cats are like the mayor of their neighborhood. Everyone knows them. They're very good with humans and they know how to fight, but they don't live in anyone's house. That should be an option. Where's the option for the mayor cat?
Where are where's the job roles they give out, like top cat style?
This is a problem. Cats also can't have jobs in the neighborhood, in the community.
The cat
Yeah.
council comes to call the HOA of cats, going like, "Where's the treats on the lady's porch?" You know, like
That's what I imagine all the turf wars are, just HOA meetings. And just like, listen.
And this is the thing. I feel like I love a good random table. I love getting those inspirations, and I think that random tables are fine. They're just there's just nothing that excites me about it. And then I think the biggest crime, and I say biggest crime in the most dramatic way possible. I wish there was a random table for a name. Like you know,
Yes.
I like look. I can call myself Nibbles till the cows come home or the cats come home, right? No, but I also imagine like then I'd be like, oh, it was a dark and stormy night, and I was being called back in, and Lollipop. No, that's not my name. You know, having a human name and a you know, I think I just want to add that amusement to it, perhaps. But I thought, oh, they've missed out on having like a D20 table of cat names and human assigned names, you know.
They could have went in a little harder, I think, overall with they could have gone harder on their tables.
Yes.
They could have gone harder with the kind of cats that are allowed. They could have gone harder with fantasy elements for cats. Since you're already playing a cat, why not bring in some more fantastical things? What kind of world is this where, like, you know, that if this is true, what else is true? Okay, if I'm a cat that can just walk out of my house one day, because that's how you start off. Basically, you walk one day, you just leave your whole family. You're warm, you're sleeping, you have food on demand, milk on demand. You have a few bites of food and you walk outside. That's how you start.
That's great.
Be like a cat.
Yeah, I could definitely do with like a random table of like purpose or object, because like it says like territories, and I think, to be fair, in each scenario it builds up like, here's some more objectives. So like in the urban one is just territory, the Brave New World is to do with like breaking like ciphers and hacking.
You have to. Yeah, you gotta steal and upload 8 databases for Brave New World.
Yeah, like the perfect storm is all pirate themed, which I did quite like. And then, like I said, the Egyptian one, the Book of Basset. That felt wild. I don't know if you read the conclusion to that.
I didn't. That was the only one I didn't read the conclusion
so
of.
I'll say this as a too long didn't read, but like that you gain scrolls, and if you roll to see if you can read it, if you do not, it crumbles to dust, and you gain I think 8 scrolls by the end, and you go into the end game, and it's about you trying to find your sister and then doing battle with like an ancient Greek god who's in the shape of look at that face. I know there's like a whole story of Egypt. I'm like, wait, this feels so different to all the others.
This is wild. If you defeat Apep, you will free Sekhmet, and the spirit of Bastet will leave you and enter her body. From this day on, she will be known as Bastet. You will return to the streets of Abu Simbel, forever watched over by Ra. Wild.
Yeah. It's like to me, I was like, "What is this scenario?" it goes hard, and so that's why I'm like,
that's a good one. I mean, cats in their natural habitat were being worshipped. You know,
that would be the one I'd like to try. Like, I think as a solo, I was like, "Oh, that'd be quite cool," because it feels like a choose your own adventure, trying to find these scrolls, etc. But yeah, like I feel like the base game, like which is just urban, which again, no problem with it. But I'm just like going like. Why would I play this if it's not a journaling narrative prompt game? Then you get stuff like I said, the Egyptian one was like, oh, I have to find my sister, I have to do battle, or you know. So yeah, I do agree with you. I would have liked to seen a proper medieval fantasy one, maybe a witch's familiar would have been interesting, perhaps.
So yeah, like where do cats already like in interesting? Cats are always hanging out in cool places because they also don't have jobs, so they're always hanging out. As much as they do sometimes have jobs, some cats work. Also, a lot of them don't work. That's okay. Their job is being a cat. And they're being cats in very cool places, next to witches, at bodegas, on the streets, making sure your children get home safe and can trick or treat safely. They are doing a lot of service, and being the joy of pharaohs of ages long past.
Yeah,
like cats have been just giving people joy for so long.
as you said, like maybe having a scenario where you are playing a big cat, and like you're hunting zebras or you're all that sort of thing on safari.
Yeah, cats do cool stuff just in general. Like they're around a lot. Like mountain lions can sound like a lady screaming. What about a mountain lion that lives on like something that's become a trail? I'm like, there's so many stories you could tell about environmentalism. I'm also, I don't know if you're into like Dr. Emily Friedman, but she shared a bunch of cool, she just did like she had to like start defending her like thesis or whatever. She brought some games and some of them are like about borders, about how languages die, like, and I just like, this would be a cool thing. What if there was like a shelter? I just think about like movies like Homeward Bound when I was growing up, where your family is moving and then your crates fall off of the moving truck and now you have to make your way home safely.
Oh God.
Like, there's so much IP out there that I feel like they could have pulled from where like cats and animals in general are already at that are exciting and would be exciting to play.
I do like the sort of the variety that you've just come up with different ideas. So like the Homeward Bound, like, oh, we must get home, like sort of the family friendly one, to Mountain Lion going like, snacks in like Yellowstone, and you're just plotting to kill as many people as possible before you get found out.
Mountain Lion Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's good.
But like do it, say like in the 1812 or something like that. So when they're opening the parks and then like park rangers. Yeah, I think there's so much. Yeah, that excites me so much more.
That sounds very fun. Yeah, it's just like, there were mountain lions there. What were they thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Just to go through. Yeah, I think overall, like I like the concept. It feels to me the stuff we've spoken about is so much more exciting than if we went to go play this game, just you and I. Like, I think we've had fun with the competitive element, but it's not one of those ones where we go, God, we should play this again, Like, I just feel like we would make it more exciting just because we're improvisers and we have these cool ideas. And which again, there's nothing wrong with that, because like a good game often is that platform to it. But I'll be honest, when I started reading it, I was like, I need to get excited. I want to be excited about it. And I'm not feeling it, and I don't know if that's because of the prompts themselves don't excite me, or if the mechanics I'm like, it's not how I would imagine it. I don't know.
Yeah, they're just kind of meh. They're not bad. They're not great. What did you think about like the Zoomies mechanic? I thought that was kind of goofy.
the frap, yes, no, it's so funny. So this is if you roll 2 6s, you go into what is called like the frenzy sort of frap thing, whereby hang on, what was it I actually called it? It's called frenetic reaction activity period, or frap. And you basically, no matter what you do, so you could be in the middle of a fight, you could just be hanging out, you will just go into your zoomie moment and then just move like 2 squares without stopping,
away from where you are.
Yeah, away from where you are, which I was like, I find it fun. And again, it's that I think it captures that chaotic energy that we have in all feline creatures. But I was like, again, is that another thing I'm like, I kind of like that, but maybe not paired with the courage and timidity thing, and also the I feel like, I don't know, I like that mechanic more than the other ones, if you see what I mean, because I was like, that's random,
Yeah, I like that it's random. But I do think it's like kind of goofy that you would be in the middle of a fight and then you would be like, I have the zoomies, I have to run.
Yes. Right, you go hiss and then go, whoa, just like Mario-esque,
Yeah, and I'm like, the cat's not that you're fighting is not gonna chase you. I didn't see anything in there for those kinds of things. And see, when you start adding those kind of mechanics, then I start thinking of more mechanics that I feel like would make sense to support, these kinds of things. And I'm like, maybe better random tables.
Yeah.
Because even how sometimes you add up the dice and sometimes you put the 2 numbers next to each other and make like the 10 set and the 1s.
Yeah, it wasn't as consistent as I thought it was going to be, because like, I get the whole like you put in tens and units and add them up, and I was like, or use a different dice. Like, but I guess the point is obviously,
exactly. I'm like, everyone, there's There's a set of dice.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Like, we only use D6s here. It's like, okay, well then your game should be then inclusive of like, but if you
The
like
numbers on those.
yeah, don't muck us about with like, oh, now add them together, because again, doesn't matter. I know it's such a small thing, but I agree, it kind of breaks the immersion a little bit for me.
Yeah, because also it's a dice pool game too. That's the thing. That's the thing. Some of the mechanics that they use combined with the fact that it is a dice pool system.
Yeah.
So it's a dice pool system. You roll the amount of dice that you have points in that skill, and then skills go from 1 to 6. So if you have a 3 in evade, right, you roll 3 dice, and then you have those levels for success on those
top.
dice.
Yeah.
You also have timidity and courage on top of that,
and then frap on top of that if you just so happen to roll 2. Yeah, just a lot to take a note of. And so that's why I was like, I don't see this necessarily as my first solo game, really, which is, I think, is a shame, because I think a lot of people will go, a cat, yes. So yeah. I think it's really interesting on that front. I feel like the dice stuff, I keep it simple in my head and make it so that it is like literally the tens and the units, like roll the 6s, and don't add anything else on there, because again, if they get it wrong, they get it wrong. You know, I'm not saying that, but I just feel it does break that immersion for me, and like it jarring a little bit. So yeah, it makes me feel like it makes me feel, if I was going to play this, I'd read it through once, but then I'd have to keep this book open and not on the prompt tables. It has to be on the rules bit, whereas I think the rules should be dead straightforward.
Yeah, because if you are going to play this with even if you played it with another person, you would need to still have like all these tables up. You would need to have those successes for a while until you got the hang of like what those successes are. Then don't forget, you'd have to go through life changes.
Oh, yes,
as
of course.
well.
Oh.
And all of those have its own thing. So this was like a question I had when I was like first like looking at the character sheet. I was like, oh, how do I find out like my max health, max injury points? And this is where that happens. So like when you're a young adult, which is after you're a kitten, all 1s are auto failures. So if you have a 1 in your roll at all, you fail.
Yep.
And your max health is 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you become a mature adult and you get to do like skill increases for that. And it has that same like success threshold where like 6 increased by 3, 5, 2, and then 2 to 4 by 1. Your max health is 7. And then you become a senior cat. And also you have 9 lives. So every time your health drops to 0, you lose one of your 9 lives. So much to keep track of.
Yeah, I do feel
like solo.
The 9 lives thing. I understand why you have a separate health tracker, and like it feels very video gamey, right? I thought to myself, just have 9 hearts. Like, because then, you know, a bad fight, you're like, whoa, okay, I've lost 3 hearts. I need to, I just feel like, okay, oh, well, I've only got, 7 health as a mature, okay, that's got, but I'll lose 1 life. Okay, back up to full. It's like, another break your
not
immersion.
To mention you can go to the vet.
Yep.
Heal all your injuries. You can also go to your house and heal.
Yeah.
If you're domestic at your starting location, you can get food and heal all your injuries. Yeah. Which it's like, how do you even reckon you're a domestic cat? You go home every day?
Yeah, do you leave?
You're just going out in the streets and then coming back?
Yeah.
See, now I'm having more questions as I start getting deeper and deeper into it.
The other thing, my picky thing with it is that it says stuff like, so like, for, as you said, like, when do you level up? When do you do this cycle thing? And it says, either it will say in a scenario, or you could do it whenever you want. And I'm just like, oh God, like, what if I want to do it now? And like a couple of them, I think the perfect storm, it says, that's just one life cycle. So you pick which one you want to be.
Yeah,
like, that's cool, great. I like that, because then it feels very contained. It feels more one-shotty. But yeah, it's just again, it feels like to me, presented itself as a, hey, you love cats, let's get your partner in because you want to get them into this, to be like very resort. Like again, in my head, it was presented as a, and maybe this is my own thing about it. Oh, it's a journaling game about me being a cat, and oh no, it was very scary. I found a bird and I ate half of it, and my owner didn't like it. And to be like, you could die at any moment. You've only got one life, you know.
They do say though that you could die in the rules. That is something that they say. And as someone who doesn't love like animal harm in games, it's different when you're playing the animal, definitely for sure. But I'm like, I'm not gonna kill the cat I'm playing.
No, of course not.
Also, we have 9 lives. Why is there a need to say this?
Why I'm not dying anytime soon. But now I'm thinking, what if we do like a Andrew Lloyd Webber Cats Jellicle Ball? Have that? Yeah, I think you got to get to Jellicle.
Cats Game of Thrones.
Oh my God, Game of Thrones. Yeah, there you go. See, look at all the ideas we've come up with to make this game
listen,
better.
There's just so much IP. You can just either see where cats are already at, or you can say, where are cats not at?
Yeah.
Let's put them there. They're not in Game of Thrones.
No, I like it though. I just, any sort
put
of
a cat on the Iron Throne, an orange cat.
Do like the cat's version of Succession, you know, like you say.
Oh my God, that would be so good.
Any final thoughts, Nandi, on Be Like a Cat? Is it something that you would recommend or play? So I appreciate, obviously, neither of us have played it. We've read it through.
Yeah.
But is there any final thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think I would play it in a one-on-one GM player situation, but I wouldn't run any of the pre-gen adventures. I would want to do something more exciting, like any of the ideas that we pitched here
100%
today. So I would play it in that way. I definitely wouldn't play it as a solo journaling. No. It seems like a little bit, I need too much for it. I need more than a journal. Yeah. And I like for my journaling RPGs to just need a journal and not really anything else. This I need a journal. I need the character sheet. I need to have the rules out. I need the tables. Have the map.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just too much, I think, for cumbersome for a solo game. But I would play it with one other person for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think my additional caveat to that, because I 100% agree with you, is that I think what we've come up with is more interesting for us. And, you know, again, people's tastes change and whatnot. I think I would definitely make this just a one session. So the lives, you are going to have 9 hearts, just because I feel like we could have a really good session. I'm like, cool. Well, I think we'll finish this in maybe 3 to 4. Oh God, I just can't. I feel like a tight story is needed here to get you excited. Because I think you will want to play different cats and try, you know, maybe I want to try a feral cat or a stray cat over a domestic cat. And so that's the thing. I think I would definitely put, if it was a one-on-one, a time restraint of like, we do it in one evening, we slim down the various things, and we'll take the prompts, but then we can talk about it a little bit more. I'd rather have agency for the player to do what they want, rather than be like, well, the dice say you're now on 7 lives. I just find that tedious in my head. So
no, I completely agree. But I think also that's a good point to make it a one session game. I keep being like, have you been listening to Worlds Beyond Number? But this most recent fireside chat was like they called it Good Morning GMs, GM.
Oh, did they?
Good Morning
I didn't
Game Masters.
Oh, cute.
But they talked, Brennan it was cute to see Brennan in his little picky nasty bag. You know, he was being very picky. He was like, I'm being kind of mean today, but when people say one shot, I get disappointed, and I want to call them feature length now. But I even think saying one session is better.
Yeah.
He was saying that he feels like people do less, and he gets sad because he wants to do the whole thing, as he doesn't often get an opportunity to play.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
but
no, I hear
only
that.
gets invited for like one shots. People are like, yeah, I'm doing a And he's like, it slows down one shot. He said it's like that. I thought it was really funny.
That's so good. Yeah, to be fair, like, again, things I do, I tend to do, I say it's one shot, but it's as one story, but often it is like 2 sessions, just to get the full breadth of it. But yeah, I agree. I feel like containing it to no more than maybe 2 sessions, but setting that expectation is that it will end, which I know is always a bad thing to say to players up front, but I was like, this will end. This is the amount of commitment you have, and maybe this is just the ADHD in myself, just be like, I want to give you the time so that you can commit to it, and you're not having to be like, oh God, I have to be nice. And yeah, I guess I've signed up for 8 sessions of being a generic cat,
oh
you know, like
imagine,
yeah, especially if it is a one-on-one as well. Like, again, some people find that intimidating if it's just one-on-one, whereas if like it's 2 sessions, maximum 6 hours, maybe a little debriefing and breaks in between. So yeah, that is funny though. Paul Brennan, like, yeah, I guess not being able to play as much. It's like, yeah, one shot. Oh, I just want a long campaign,
Yeah, he was saying how he ran all these long campaigns for so long. He just ended his like 14-year home game within the past 2 or 3 years.
Damn.
So he was like, I was running a home game this entire time. I was running long form campaigns, so I just don't understand why folks don't want to. I feel that. I feel the same way. I'm in a campaign. I'm in one long form campaign that I've been in for like a little over a year. It's a Curse of Strahd campaign. It's great that some of us have been able to do it the entire time. We've also had people who started and couldn't keep up, but I love being able to do it. And it's so much fun when you get to stay in a character for a long time. But what I was going to say is this could also have an interesting short runtime. I think you could really control the size of your sessions. So if you didn't want to if you wanted to play for 90 minutes, you could definitely have a 90-minute version of this game, and that sounds kind of cool.
I think that sounds quite fun. Yeah, like it is like a day in the life of, you do maximum 3 encounters if it's one-on-one GM, and you just and then you ask the player to speak aloud their journal entry or whatever. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And
that sounds fun.
That does sound fun. Oh, well, Nandi, thank you so much for ripping apart this book. I think we're both on the same page about it, but I'd love to have you back to talk more about solo games and also Walking Dead.
Oh my goodness, of course.
Of course. No, I very much appreciate it. But I would love to give you a moment to promo any other projects you've got coming up, any obviously RPG podcasts or other podcasts you're a part of. I know you are a super busy individual, but also if you like, if there's a recommendation, an RPG recommendation or otherwise, feel free to add that in as well. But I wanted to give you a moment towards the end of the episode to just promo yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Fiona. This is so lovely. I'm so glad to be here, and so glad we get to like have a chance to really nerd out on games. I've wanted to do this for a while. People can find me on the internet at Nandi, Kayyyy, on most platforms. You can also catch me playing Tatiana on The Young, which is an actual Walking Dead actual play podcast. And you can get that for free on Patreon at Hoot Cow Productions, like Hoot and a cow neck Productions on Patreon. You can also check out my conversational podcast called Right Quick, anywhere you get podcasts. My game recommendation, I think, is Blood on the Clock Tower. I know a lot of people are playing it, but I'm about to run it for my birthday in December. I'm going to do a little murder mystery party and run Blood on the Clock Tower, which I'm really excited about, that there are great games with mechanics that already support a murder mystery party, so you don't have to. I've really enjoyed watching a bunch of people play it. Becca Scott. There's so many people that do really cool Blood on the Clock Towers, and I love social intrigue games. I love convincing people. I love when you get to accuse. and pretend not to be evil. So that's the game I'm recommending, Blood on the Clock Tower, because I just love seeing people go against each other.
It's so good. Yeah, I'm a massive Blood on the Clock Tower fan. I've played a couple in person, but mostly online. And I have a theory that I always sit at the number one spot because I'm like, I'm important. I always get evil when I'm in that spot, but I think that's just because it's my account. I don't think every time it happens, I'm like, God fucking damn it, and I
turn evil.
I'm like, Gah. Like one time we had 3 games back to back, and I was the demon in the first 2, and then I was the Scarlet Woman, which is basically the demon in waiting in the third one, and I'm just like, I can't win. I'm just doomed to be evil
it's
for the rest of the time.
Meant to be. No. It's who you're meant to be.
But then they executed me straight away because they just to make sure. And I was like, stop, no, please.
Exactly. But if you became a good player, like one of the townsfolk, you would probably get killed too, because they would be like, just to be safe.
Yeah, we just don't trust Fiona because of this whole meta that's gone on. Absolutely.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is so many people. This is Alexander Ward at every Blood on the Clock Tower I've ever seen him play. Yeah. People always like, you're evil.
And it's just, I just read as such. That's all it is. Oh, well, best of luck. I'm guessing it's in person, storytelling in person.
Yes, it will be in person.
I'm so, well, you have to let me know how that goes, because that is very exciting. I've done a little bit of storytelling and I've gone, it's too much for me, personally speaking. But
it seems like a lot. I've watched people and they have like a nice guide that like comes with the game when you buy like the physical game. So I've just been making my way through that, and I'm going to do one of the easy first one. So hopefully that'll be, I'm just happy I'll have enough people to actually make it like,
well, that's it. That's the thing, is getting the buy-in for people just to try it and enjoy it. Yeah, because we played a game recently where there was a wizard on the script, which a character where basically it's an evil minion character, so one of the evil team, and they could just make a wish and they changed the game. And I'm just there going like, this sounds like a lot of responsibility.
No, that's too much.
I'm like, I don't find that fun, because obviously people are going to make silly wishes, and then
people ban the wish spell from D&D.
Right, like, exactly.
I'm like, so
no. Oh well, thank you so much, Nandi, and thanks to our wonderful listeners for listening to DM's Book Club. We'll be back again next week with another topic, but until then, goodbye.